Well, how's it going, guys? My name's Timmy Joe. I make videos about computers on the internet and Ryzen build. This is the kind of stuff I'm doing in my new computer store. It's going to be freaking awesome. This one's real easy, too, because I didn't even have to source any of the parts. Somebody just contacted me through my new business YouTube page, or Facebook page, I should say. And they wanted a PC built because they were maybe not comfortable putting it together themselves. And they've been holding on since like January when they picked up all this stuff. So I wonder what kind of price this was. But better, good for me. I'm getting paid a flat rate to build the computer, get to do a build on the channel, do a little bit of benchmarks and stuff. And this guy has all the bases covered. In fact, the only thing I helped him out with was a CPU cooler because he didn't have one. And you know what? 1500X deserves better than the Wraith, Spire, even though it's not that bad. So what do we got on hand? Well, Ryzen 5 1500X, some awesome Samsung NAND 850 flash goodness, a 1 terabyte hard drive. We got some, I hope works well with Ryzen, Ripjaw, just 2400 speed memory, so it's nothing too crazy. We'll see if we can get this to go a little higher. An X370 killer SLI motherboard, so a good motherboard. Haven't tested this one yet, so it'll be nice to check it out. And what else we got? The Asus GTX 1050 Ti GeForce. It's the Snow Leopard edition, the dual edition. I'm going to call it Snow Leopard edition. And this thing looks, I just actually had the Cerberus edition. It probably looks quite similar. That's if it even has a back plate, but let's just check it out quick. Oh, it's a little cutie. No back plate. So, yeah, it's one of the cheaper cards, but, it'll get the job done. Doesn't require any extra power. And then we are going to house that all in the Corsair Carbide 400, I believe it's 400C case. And this is a nice case with a swing out. It's like an acrylic door, but there's a PSU shroud and stuff in it. There's some fans that come with it, so we'll check that out. And then a 650 watt power supply from EVGA, so it's a fully modular, so that'll be nice to work with. So yeah, then we're going to cool it down with the Arctic freezer. It's going to be a nice little build. So I'm going to do one of those super quick, fast, fun time builds where I splice it all together with music, and we'll do a little benchmark on what this is. And I just built a system with a 1050 Ti in it, so I kind of know what a Core i7 looks like for performance. So I'd be interested to see what newer Ryzen, would do against that Core i7. So see you guys in a second. We're gonna get her done. Alright, we're back! Woo! And the computer's all together. Looking very, very snazzy, this white and black theme. The customer actually picked out all these parts himself and had just been reluctant to put them together. And he did a very good job picking kind of a theme out. The AsRock motherboard, AsRock Killer SLI. It's got all the settings you're going to need to overclock, and it's got a BAMMM that'll support even up to Ryzen 7, no problem. So no problems there. It's an X370, and it's got, you know, support for NVMe, and it's got a pretty good VRM on it. I don't have the internet, so it's hard for me to do my usual slidey thing. It's running superposition right now, and we've got it overclocked to 4.0 gigahertz with the Ryzen 1500X, which is a pretty good overclocker. I usually find that these do well at getting to 4 and a little bit beyond. But we have an Arctic Freezer 33 Esports Edition on it, which is keeping her nice in around 60 degrees max, you know, under some really good Cinebench loads. So that's really reasonable and well maintained. The Wraith cooler would have been all right, but I think the aesthetics of the black and white of the Esports looks really good. We have a really good power supply that could support, you know, a 1080 Ti. No problem with this. It's a pretty good deal. The next from EVGA, and it could support a much better CPU. 650 is probably about the sweet spot for a performance PC. And then we have the Asus Dual Series. It's just a 1050 Ti, 4 gigs, you know, and overclocks, you know, 100, 120 on the V core or on the GPU core, and 300 to 400 memory. I just left it at 115 and 300, and it's that's what it's doing right now. It's a pretty good gaming machine, especially for, you know, if you're not looking to get like super high for refresh rates or whatever on a really high-end monitor. 1080p 60 frames a second is going to be absolutely no problem at all. So just finishing up superposition there, and then I'll just show you a few gaming benchmarks after that. But it went together well, and some notes on this case, this Carbide. The power supply shrouds are my least favorite thing of it. Oh my goodness, putting that on there, and it barely fits the motherboard underneath it. You have to take the drive cage and both the shrouds off in order to get the power supply in there properly. Even a modular one like this, because there's no room for the cables, you know, in there unless you plug them in ahead of time before you know, screw it in. But other than that, it's got lots of airflow, even though, you know, there's no fans on the other side of this. So there's a big chunk of air coming through here. There we go, 5361 in superposition. Not a bad score, you know, with an average of 40 frames a second. So, you know, this isn't, you know, so I consider superposition like a AAA title. And if you want to crank the settings in it, you're gonna have to lower them a bit to get 60 FPS. But it'll definitely be completely playable at between 40 and 60 on AAA titles. And as we all know, I just did a 1050 Ti Cerberus Edition review, and it did pretty well, you know, for pretty much every game, able to, you know, drop the settings down just a bit and get 1080p 60 frames a second, you know, on medium in most things, or, you know, on PUBG it'll do that. But on Fortnite or on Overwatch, you're going to be able to get way over 60 frames a second and still have the graphics pretty high. So I got this open here. We'll just we'll close out. I'll just show you. There's my overclock on the GPU, 115 and 300. It'll go higher than that, but we want to leave it in a good range for the customer, so he's not hearing it, the fan ramp up on it on a long gaming session. And then we'll run Cinebench here, and I think it'll score a little lower because we've got a few programs open, but it should hit about 900. So that's pretty good, 900. In stock, it'll do probably 800. So you get about a 100-point difference. I think with the newer generation of Ryzen, that gap would be even closer, because it's so good at XFRing itself, especially with, you know, this. Let's see what the temperatures are. It's hitting 60 degrees at load. That is not bad at all. There's, you know, loads of thermal headroom there. We're at 1.38 in the BIOS for a V-core and 1.18 for the SoC voltage. And, you know, it's just, this is a pretty much meat and potatoes, going to get the job done, do well. You're not going to complain too much. And later on, you can upgrade the GPU in this. Yeah, see, 891. So if I close hardware monitor, ran it again, and we get about 900. So I think we can look down here. 900 right there. So yeah, that's pretty good. So all in all, I really like this system build. It's neat, it's clean, it's simple. I really like this case for this reason. Kind of forgives the power supply shroud issue. It supports up to 3 SSDs in the back, 2 3.5-inch hard drives. But I love this because, you know, I hate how flimsy a lot of the, you know, cheaper cases are for a front panel. That is awesome. The ability to just go in there, make a little change, not have to pull that thing all the way off or get smudges all over the, there's still a film on here, left that on there for the customer so it doesn't get scratched up in his car. But, you know, all in all, nice system. So price on this, that'll be my last point. He said he paid about 1,100 Canadian for this, and that was during the holiday season or just thereafter. So it would have been, you know, Black Friday sales and stuff like that, or, you know, Boxing Day sales. And he's had it ever since then and hasn't used it. So it's like, come on, man, let's build this thing for you and get it used. But that's around an $800 to $900 PC. I think he did well on the graphics card. It was just before it really shot up there for a minute. It got really bad at the beginning of the year where 1050s were like 400, you know, Canadian easy. And so if he's coming under 1,100 for this, said and done with taxes and shipping, that's not a bad deal. So I'd say this is an $800 US PC right now that you could go ahead and build, and we'll just, you know, throw a couple gaming statistics up there. I don't have the internet, so it's hard for me to do you know, super research on how much this actually would cost today. And, you know, you can take my word for it. It's about an $800 American computer if you hunt the deals. And with a really nice case as well. But it gets pretty good gaming benchmarks. As you can see, you know, you're going to play some pretty good titles and you're not going to have any issues, especially with down the road, you know, when the next generation of NVIDIA comes out, you can plop a better graphics card in there. And, you know, you still will see a much more benefit to having a better graphics card on a 1500. But even better than that, when Ryzen 2 comes out, he can put, you know, a new Ryzen in there, or he can upgrade it to an 8-core processor. Lots of upgradability with this. So I'm at Watch Timmy Joe, Instagram and Twitter. I hope you like this build. I think it's really clean. There's only, you know, the motherboard LEDs in there, and they're red, and I think you could maybe change them if I downloaded the AsRock software, but again, no motherboard, so no internet, so can't download the RGB software. But even if you can't, that's, you know, it's a really clean white and black build with some really nice aesthetics, and it's not going to be obtrusive on a desk, flashing all kinds of lights like my computers do, and that's exactly what he was going for. So yeah. So I'm at Watch Timmy Joe, Instagram and Twitter. Follow me on my social media because I'm almost at 1,000 on Twitter. It'd be nice to clear that soon, that 1,000 threshold. And then I'm almost at 60,000 subscribers, so hit the subscribe button. Make sure you are subscribed. People tell me all the time, hey, I've been watching your videos forever. Didn't realize I didn't help you with your subscriptions. And then, of course, there's a Patreon, which would help me pay for some of these new digs, help bring more content to the channel. I'm working on getting some personal builds for myself because I'm going to need a computer at home. I'm hoping to go X299 for an editing rig upcoming soon in a really awesome deep cool case. And yeah, there's just tons of content coming up on the channel. And you know what? If you're buying anything through Amazon, I'll leave some links below for this stuff, which will help me out in the long run, give me a little kickback. And yeah, that's all the, you know, subscribing YouTube BS I've got to say today. So I will see you guys in another video. I'm going to deliver this PC to the customer, edit this video for you. Go have a nice weekend, and then we'll be back next week, hopefully with some internet, and get some mad content accomplished. And I'm super looking forward to it. See you guys later. Woo!